I'm happy about that. That is good. Wow, that's so good. This is the best mochi I've made. Best mochi I've made.
So in all my mochi videos, I always have two different sets of comments. Can you use regular rice flour instead of mochiko or instead of the sweet? The other comments I get quite a bit. People say, what I make is not mochi. Mochi's made out of sweet, glutinous rice. We're gonna test the authentic-ish way of making mochi using regular glutinous rice, and we're gonna test a secondary version using just regular rice flour. So for the first test, we're gonna test to see if you can make mochi using regular rice flour. I haven't seen anybody really test this, so for this attempt, I'm gonna use, like I said, my mochi recipe. I have a microwave-safe dish. We're gonna try to make this in the microwave. I'm gonna do 1 cup of rice flour to a 1/4 cup of sugar. Now we're gonna add 1 cup of water. And I'm gonna stir this while mixing just to make sure everything's evenly combined. Right off the bat, this is a much wetter dough than your normal mochi mixture. I believe the glutinous rice takes the water just quite a bit more, and it binds together better than rice flour does. So now we're just gonna cover this up and take it over to the microwave. So we're gonna microwave this on high for about 3 minutes or so with 1-minute segments. Now I'm gonna keep microwaving this until it seems like it's getting pretty thick. If it's not getting thick, we're just gonna end the test. But if it does start to get thick, I'm just gonna keep going at like 1 to 30 second increments. I'll let you know afterwards. Okay, so this worked out to where it was in the microwave for about 3 minutes. It formed a solid dough ball for sure, which it actually formed better than what I thought it would. This is still really hot. But the one thing that it is not mochi. Mochi is stretchy and sticky, which this is pretty sticky, but there's no stretch to it. There's no gum or elasticity to this. This is just a rice dough ball, not mochi. I don't think you can even come close to calling this mochi because it just tears away. It's brittle. There's no stretch, no gum, no chew. Just a dough ball. So I hope that simple explanation answers it for you. You're just not gonna be able to get mochi out of it. You're gonna get a dough ball, but that's not mochi. Let me clean this up and then we're gonna work on making mochi out of rice. So, to make mochi out of rice, sweet rice, glutinous rice, this is a very specific type of rice. It's a short grain rice that's used to make mochi. Now I got this one. This one's by Coda Farms. They're the same company that makes the Mochiko rice flour that I always use to make my mochi. So I knew that this one would be a good rice to make mochi. But to make this, it's a little longer process. The very first thing that we have to do, and I'm gonna do right now, is we're gonna wash the rice, continually rinse this rice until it's clear and good clean water come out of it. Then we're gonna soak it in filtered water or like a spring water, I would recommend, overnight. Okay, so the sweet rice has soaked overnight. It's good to go. What we're gonna be doing next is we need to strain the rice. And to do that, I'm gonna use a cheesecloth, and then we're just gonna pour this mixture into the cheesecloth. The water, rice, and all. The next step is to steam this. We're gonna steam this rice for about 30 minutes or so. Now it's gonna be pretty sticky, pretty crazy, pretty gooey. So the mochi rice has been steaming for a little over half an hour. The next step is to pound the rice down. That's what turns it into mochi. Now traditionally in Japan, to make the mochi, they use a large hammer called a kine, and they put it into a large wooden mortar called a usu, and then they pound the rice until it turns into that sticky, really consistent. They're breaking down the rice grain to turn it into mochi. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my stand mixer. Now, this idea isn't mine. I got the idea to use a stand mixer from the website Just One Cookbook. They've done this technique, so I'm just gonna be mimicking the technique. So at this point, I'm not gonna touch anything with my bare hands from this point on. I'm gonna use just a silicone spatula and just know that everything's gonna be really, really sticky. So let's get this going. I'm gonna put it into my stand mixer with the dough hook and then just turn this on to a stir. Allow this to stir together and kind of break up the mochi. We're just gonna let this go and then we're gonna kind of push everything back together again and we're just keep repeating the process for a while. This is gonna be cool. This is gonna be some really good mochi.
Really all I'm doing here is just kind of mixing it up, making sure that everything is getting kind of beaten together to form mochi. I mean, this is pretty quickly coming together. You can see it's really like most of the individual rice grains have now kind of started to form into what we know as mochi. So the paddle attachment is what's going to replicate essentially the hammer when they're beating the mochi. Okay, so this has been mixing for quite a while. I believe my stand mixer has seen better days, I'll tell you that. It's not very happy with me. We're gonna remove this hook. And I have a baking sheet. Now traditionally potato starch is used. I'm gonna be using a cornstarch. Just gonna spread that out. And I don't care about getting it on my hands because I want my hands to be pretty dry. And I'm gonna try, hopefully, to get all of this out and just unbelievable. Whew. Whew. I'm gonna spread this guy out. So at this point, I'm just gonna dust a little bit more cornstarch over the top, not too much because I still wanna fill this, but I'm just gonna form this into individual balls. So I'm gonna use my hand here, form like a small C, kind of cup this up underneath, and then pinch off. And then that is my mochi. I'm gonna repeat that. So I have some sweetened red bean paste. What we're gonna do is we're going to brush the starch off the top of this, press it down pretty smooth and hope that it doesn't stick. And then all I'm gonna do is just drop a dollop of the red bean paste in the center. Gonna pinch up over the top, pinch up on the sides, and then seal it around the bottom. Oh, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. That came out perfect. And you can put these in the freezer and enjoy them all of the time. It's our red bean mochi. Now I might have had a little bit too thick across the bottom, but it's still gonna be good. I'm happy about that. That is good. Wow, that's so good. This is by far the best method of making mochi that I've done. But wow, does this just top anything that you're gonna get in the store. So there it is, mochi made from rice. You guys asked for it. Can you make mochi from rice? You asked if you could make mochi from regular rice flour. We tried that real quick. Nope, you can't. It's completely different. The texture is completely different. This is it. How to make mochi from rice at home using short grain sweet rice. Make sure you get that kind of rice. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can pick some up. I'm also gonna leave a link in the description for the limited edition Mochi Mark t-shirt. Make sure you guys pick that up. I'm so excited to have that. This thing is so cool. I love it. Mochi from rice. Man, I am happy about this. Man, I am happy about this.